Hey everybody, I'm Keech Rainwater. I'm your guest mentor today for Studio NPL, and we're going to talk a little bit today about sound, and specifically sound for video, because I think that 50% of the quality of a video is the sound. Because if you're watching a video and it has bad sound, nobody wants to watch that video. You're just going to lose your audience. And so I think it's really important to have really good quality sound going into your video, whether it's music or dialogue, people talking, or sound effects or anything like that. I think it's real important that the sound be really, really nice. Now, it's really hard to get good sound on a video. It takes practice and it takes a lot of trial and error and a little bit of skill. So today we're going to try to break it down into just a few different ways of thinking about it. One of the ways that you can get sound, that's probably one of the most easy ways, is called single system sound. And that's where, like I'm doing right now, I have this lapel mic on here and it's picking my sound up and it's coming through this Zoom recorder, which is a digital recorder right here. And then I'm just coming out of the headphone jack right over into my camera. So I don't have to worry about syncing anything up or anything. It's just going straight into the camera. Now the problem with that is you have to make sure that the sound going into the camera isn't distorted. Distorted is where if I had the headphone jack up really, really high on this recorder, or the microphone was too hot, too loud, and going into the camera and it distorts. It sounds like it's just like breaking up and it's really terrible. The way to combat that is to have a good set of headphones. When you're behind the camera, you have some headphones on to be able to hear it, and also make sure that you look at the meters on the camera to see that they are not in the red. You don't want them to be in the red. So there's several different ways to do it. That's single system sound. Now, double system sound is where you have two separate entities. You have a sound like this Zoom recorder, let's say, with a chip inside, a memory card, and then you're hitting record on that, and you're also recording video separately. And you would have something, in a lot of cases, you can have something professional like this, this slate right here, which is a digital slate that you really, all we would be using it for if we were doing that is just for the sound and the look of this, like that. So, which you can easily do it with just somebody clapping. And what I like to do a lot of times is just before I start, if I'm doing double system sound, is just to go 3, 2, 1, and maybe a little audible thing about what it is, so you know what you're listening to on the recorder, what it matches with the visual. So yeah, so the lapel mic is basically what I'm using here. Is this a long, about a 20-foot long, thin little cable that usually goes up your shirt, usually up the actor's shirt or whoever's going to be in front of the camera, and then it clips onto here, and you got to make sure that it's sort of pointing up at their face and you get good quality sound. That's probably the best way to mic somebody and you get the best quality. Another way is what's called a shotgun mic, which is this right here. If you don't have one of these, or you don't want to have a wire trailing everywhere you go and you're sort of, the talent is just walking around, you want to pick up the sound from behind the camera, you got to make sure that this shotgun mic is pointing straight at the person talking and as close as you can get it to the people talking without being in frame where you see it in the camera. And that's tricky sometimes. You got to kind of practice ahead of time and make sure that this isn't, you're not seeing this in the edge of the frame, and get it just far away enough to where it's not in the frame, but it's close enough to the talent where it's going to pick up their voice. And again, not distorted. You want to make sure that the sound going in, so you almost have to have an extra person to make sure that the sound is going in there nice and clear. So yeah, that's my little tutorial on getting good sound. Here's another thing you can use. This is a wireless pack. I use this sometimes, but it's not the best system in that sometimes you pick up interference. You know, the person will be talking and you'll hear a little bit of a or something like that. So it's not ideal. It's useful, but it's not ideal. I like to either use a shotgun mic or this lapel mic if the person's going to be sitting still like this. But once again, you got to get really good crisp sound, and you got to make sure that it's loud enough to the people can hear it, and not distorted and not just nasty sounding when your final product is done and you're editing. So this is Keech Rainwater, your guest mentor at Studio NPL. If you have any questions, be sure and submit your questions to studio npl nashville at gmail.com. And we look forward to seeing you next time.